After I died, my girlfriend swallowed my ashes, only to discover they were actually baby formula. And right at that moment, I was lounging on some tropical island beach, soaking up the sun. Suddenly, I saw a familiar figure walking towards me. Victoria, what are you doing here? The formula was delicious. Tonight, I'll feed you some too. Crap, this game had gone off the rails. I first realized I was immortal when I was 7. My alcoholic father, drunk again, smashed an empty bottle over my head, again and again, until shards of glass littered the floor. I could clearly feel the blood draining from my body, bit by bit, leaving me cold and trembling all over. But just when I thought I was about to die, a warmth flooded through me. On the brink of death, my body surged back to life. So, when the idea came up for me to give my heart to Daniel, I nodded without hesitation. It was just a heart, right? I couldn't die anyway, and it would save someone. Why not? I lay on the cold operating table, felt the anesthesia slowly injected, my consciousness fading. But even then, the first person who came to mind was Victoria. I met her when I was 18 working part-time at a bar. After my dad died, I had to work during school breaks to get by. To make enough for living expenses, I took a job as a server at this bar. It was a rough place, a real mixed crowd, but the pay was high, the only job where I could scrape together enough money before the summer ended. That night, Victoria was completely wasted. The first thing she said when she saw me was, "I want to sponsor you." I nodded, agreeing without a second thought. My decisiveness surprised everyone there, including Victoria. Nobody turns down money, especially when the potential sponsor is young, beautiful, and loaded. No matter how you looked at it, I was the one getting the better end of the deal. That same night, she took me back to her spacious condo downtown, the kind of place I'd only seen on TV. I couldn't help but look around curiously, but even that subtle action made Victoria frown. "What's your name?" she asked. "Ethan." "Ethan? Interesting name." I put on a shy smile, trying hard to play the part of someone being kept. "Give me your bank account number. I'll deposit money regularly. I'll let you know before I come over. There's a housekeeper here during the day. Ask her if you need anything. I like piano music. You need to take 2 piano lessons a week. I'll check your progress in a month. If it's not up to par, our arrangement ends," she stated methodically, word by word. A huge place to live, no worries about tuition or living expenses, even free piano lessons. I felt like I'd hit the jackpot. I immediately promised Victoria I wouldn't disappoint her. Before leaving, she looked at me again, but her gaze seemed to pass right through me, looking at someone else. Not that I cared about that. And so, I stayed with Victoria year after year from 18 to 24. Looking at the growing balance in my account, the idea of faking my death started to form in my mind. After all, my dream had always been a life without worries, living in style. I'd pretty much achieved the living in style part. The without worries was still a work in progress. Just as I was pondering whether to go with a car crash, drowning, or jumping off a building, Victoria's old flame returned. I knew from the very first night with Victoria that she had someone else in her heart, and I was just a stand-in. So, all along, to keep my patron happy so she'd keep the money flowing, I did my best to learn how to be like the person she truly loved. After 6 years with Victoria, pretty much everyone in our circle knew about me. So, the moment Daniel came back, someone texted me, mocking me. "A fake is still a fake. Let's see what you do now that the real deal is back. You've been stealing someone else's love for so long. Have you no shame?" I looked at the messages and shrugged. What could I do? Only lie by the pool of my luxurious villa, eating fresh fruit flown in seasonally, drinking from Victoria's collection of expensive wines. Oh, right, and taking helicopter rides along specially approved routes to admire the country's scenery. In winter, soaking in private hot springs, skiing on private slopes. Yeah, that's all I could do. Still, the thought of leaving all this behind brought a pang of regret. I immediately grabbed my phone and went on a shopping spree. Couldn't shortchange myself before leaving. Seeing the endless list of shopping orders improved my mood considerably. Just as I was planning to enjoy the big bed all to myself tonight, I heard the door open, followed by the sound of Victoria taking off her shoes. I checked my phone. 6:30. I was a bit surprised. Her long-lost love, The one she'd yearned for all these years was back. Why was she home so early? Shouldn't they be catching up, chatting, having dinner, drinks? Stop. I shouldn't think like that. Not everyone has a mind as dirty as mine. I sighed, composed myself, and went to greet her, only to see her holding a familiar box. Ethan, how many times have I told you not to ship things like this to the company address? Inside the box was a black, sheer lace nightgown. Do you like it? I asked, tilting my head up. Victoria sighed, sounding resigned. Yes, I like it. I smirked. What good was liking it? In Victoria's heart, Daniel would always come first. For the next few days, I barely saw Victoria. I was fine with that, relieved not to have to guess her moods. Focusing on securing my future happiness, I started secretly transferring the money I'd accumulated from her over the years. Just gotta get through this birthday, then I can leave, I muttered to myself. My birthday was only half a month away. Ever since I met Victoria, she had spent every birthday with me. I hoped she'd be there for this last one. The next time Victoria came back, I had fallen asleep on the sofa after getting tired of binge-watching a show. I woke up to the strong smell of alcohol. Opening my eyes, I found Victoria nestled in my arms, her eyes bloodshot, meeting mine unexpectedly. For some reason, my hand slowly reached up to stroke her eyes. Been busy lately? Yeah. Something tricky came up. Once it's resolved, I won't be so busy. I can spend more time with you. I nodded obediently, suppressing my curiosity, not asking what it was. Okay, you go to bed first. I have some things to deal with. Lying alone in the soft, king-sized bed, I couldn't sleep. The image of Victoria's exhausted face kept flashing in my mind. Unable to resist, I got out of bed, went to the kitchen, and made her a glass of honey water. But when I reached the study door, I hesitated again. Was this something I should be doing? In those few minutes of hesitation, I overheard part of Victoria's phone call. I don't care how much it costs. Daniel's health can't wait. I know finding a matching heart is incredibly difficult. So that's why she was so busy trying to find a donor heart for Daniel. I turned around, carried the honey water back downstairs to the kitchen, and poured it all down the drain. Then, as if nothing happened, I climbed back into bed and went to sleep. When I woke up, there were signs someone had slept beside me, but when I reached out, the spot was cold. She must have left a while ago. When Victoria returned that evening, she still reeked of alcohol, her eyes red from lack of sleep. Is this problem really hard to solve? Victoria buried her head in my neck and mumbled a soft, "Yeah." I sighed and gently patted her back. I messaged the person who had mocked me earlier and asked for the hospital where Daniel was staying. It was a private hospital and Victoria was the largest shareholder. She had arranged for Daniel to be treated there. When I saw Daniel, I was a bit shocked. The illness had ravaged him. He was painfully thin, just skin and bones. His large eyes seemed unnaturally prominent, almost frightening. He looked equally surprised to see me. You look a lot like I used to. Maybe, but not anymore. Now I look more like you used to look. Daniel clearly hadn't expected me to say something like that. He froze for a second, then managed to smile after a moment. I pouted. Bullying a sick person wasn't very interesting. I just went to get tested for compatibility with you. Daniel frowned. Compatibility? Yeah. For a heart transplant. His frown deepened. If it's a match, I'll give you my heart. This hospital, the one Daniel was in, Victoria had specifically established it when she learned about his congenital heart condition. Over the years, it had dedicated itself to researching congenital heart disease, and in just a few years, its technology became world-class. But all of it was for the man lying in this hospital bed. In a private hospital like this, if I was willing, I could request the compatibility test. After saying my piece, I turned and left the room, leaving Daniel to mull it over himself. The test results came back quickly. A perfect match, almost as if my heart was tailor-made for Daniel. I frowned, feeling a genuine pang of reluctance. That night, Victoria's brow wasn't furrowed anymore. She didn't smell of alcohol, and her eyes seemed to sparkle when she looked at me. She rushed forward and hugged me tightly. Ethan, I can spend the night with you tonight. A self-deprecating smile flickered across my face. I stiffly returned the hug, patting her back. Okay, I replied. If she had just dug a little deeper, she would have known it was me who got tested. But she was too happy. Her Daniel could live. Is the company stuff all sorted out? I pushed her away gently, looking her in the eyes, hoping maybe she'd tell me the truth. But she didn't. Resolved. I can spend some proper time with you now. Okay. I gave Victoria one last chance, but she still didn't tell me the truth. Later, I went back to the hospital and got Daniel's contact information. Why would you give me your heart? Because I don't want to live anymore. That reason clearly wasn't convincing enough for Daniel. So I made something up. I'm sick too. I don't have long left. Might as well do a good deed before I die, earn some good karma. Seeing his skeptical expression, I just smiled and left. He wanted to live, so he wouldn't tell Victoria. He wouldn't dare risk it. Even though the compatibility test was successful, I was still alive and kicking, so Daniel couldn't get my heart yet. But since I'd agreed, I intended to keep my promise. I had asked Daniel's attending physician, in his current condition without a suitable donor heart, he had maybe a month left at most. So, I gave myself 2 weeks to say a proper goodbye to Victoria. My birthday is in a week. You've been so busy lately you haven't spent any time with me, I murmured, playing with Victoria's earlobe, nuzzling into her neck. She put down her work, chuckled helplessly, and took my wrist. Is there any gift you want? I seized the opportunity, pulling her onto my lap, still grumbling. Anything I like, I can just buy with your card. Suddenly, something Daniel's friend had told me popped into my head. Victoria had once bought an entire bay to propose to Daniel right after he graduated. A little spark of competitiveness ignited within me. What if I wanted a ring? I asked softly, wrapping my arms around her neck, looking directly into her eyes. The air suddenly went still. Only the sound of our breathing remained, and my heart, which involuntarily started beating faster. Thump, thump. It was loud in the quiet space. To break the awkward silence, I quickly put on a smile. I'm only 24, I haven't had enough fun yet. I'm not getting married. Ethan, you're very sensible. Yeah, 6 years and all I got was you're very sensible. Ethan, what exactly were you hoping for? Leaving the study, I took a deep breath, trying to hold back the tears welling up. Obviously, I failed. Tears streamed down my cheeks. Even though I was immortal, a bit of a monster, I could still love someone. Victoria could love someone too, just not me. The next day, gifts from Victoria arrived, nearly filling the entire living room. Looking down at all the stuff from the top of the stairs, I instantly felt calm. It was just a financial transaction between us. In Victoria's eyes, I was just a plaything who would do whatever she wanted as long as she paid. We were both just getting what we needed, it was me who got greedy. Once I accepted that, everything became clear. I ran downstairs in my slippers and started tearing open the boxes. Might as well take what I could get. I kept what I liked, returned what I didn't, exchanging it for cash. This was all security for my future happiness. The thought spurred me on. Soon, I had everything sorted and expertly dialed the number for luxury goods resale. Seeing the money deposited into my account, the sadness from last night vanished. No one can stay mad when money's involved, especially someone like me who grew up poor. Looking at the half-empty living room, I made another call. Hey, Chloe, get over here. Chloe was my childhood friend, the only one who knew my secret. Soon, a tall, beautiful woman appeared in the living room. Same drill. Pick what you like, send the rest to the usual place, I winked at Chloe. Chloe expertly gave me an okay sign and started picking through the items. The usual place was the happy home I'd prepared for myself after faking my death, a place only Chloe and I knew about. When are you planning to leave? So I can get ready. To help with my escape plan, Chloe had transferred from a public hospital to the private one owned by Victoria's family 2 years ago. Soon. After my birthday. Okay. After Chloe left, I pulled out my phone and texted Victoria, "Love you, babe," with a picture of the opened gifts I'd staged. A moment later, Victoria replied, "Glad you like them." The night before my birthday, Victoria didn't come home. I didn't need to guess, she was with Daniel. I sat on the balcony swing, lighting a cigarette under the moonlight. Only when Victoria wasn't around could I be myself. I was never an elite like Daniel, skilled in everything. Playing his part for 6 years had thoroughly exhausted me. I raised my hand, miming playing the piano in the air, then chuckled. Picking up the wine glass beside me, I downed the 8-figure bottle from Victoria's collection in one go, then stumbled onto the large bed and passed out. Happy birthday, babe. The first birthday message I received was from Chloe. I replied with a kissing emoji before getting up to wash. Today was my birthday and also the day I said goodbye to Victoria forever. Got a surprise planned for me tonight? I texted Victoria. Of course. Wait for my signal tonight. Almost an instant reply. I was actually quite curious about what kind of surprise it would be. So, after getting ready, I sat on the living room sofa waiting for Victoria's supposed signal. Until night fell. I glanced at the 5-figure takeout on the table, mostly eaten by me. Can't mistreat myself, even if I mistreat everyone else. While waiting for her, I ordered all the takeout I wanted and went on another online shopping binge. Only after ordering did I realize I was leaving soon, so anything shipped here wouldn't reach me. That realization brought me down for a bit. What's taking so long? I checked the time. It was already 10 p.m. If she didn't come back soon, my birthday would be over. No reply to texts, no answer to calls. Fine, I wasn't waiting anymore. I ordered another birthday cake. It wasn't custom-made, but it would do. After eating a slice of cake, I called Chloe. Get ready. TSK, your sugar mommy is still with Daniel. Figured as much. I'm on my way. I hung up. Taking the flashiest sports car from the garage, I drove out of the villa. At this hour, the highway wasn't busy. I rolled down the window, letting the night wind blow as I headed towards my new life. To ensure everything went perfectly, I planned to stage a fatal car accident near Victoria's private hospital. But plans change. I was driving along just fine when a large truck slammed into the back of my car. After a deafening crash, the whole world went silent. Wow, car crashes don't even hurt, was my first thought. I felt someone dragging me out of the mangled car, then frantically performing CPR. Hang on, just hang on a little longer. Drops of sweat landed on my cheek, warm. At that moment, I had only one thought. Stop saving me, stop saving me. If you actually manage to revive me, my whole escape plan is ruined. Maybe my prayers worked. I felt my body getting lighter and lighter until my soul floated up into the air. I saw the young woman who was trying to save me still hadn't given up. Sorry about that. Ambulance sirens wailed as paramedics arrived from Victoria's hospital, of course. I watched myself being lifted onto a stretcher and taken to the hospital. I followed my own corpse into the ambulance. Outside the operating room, I saw a doctor holding the organ donation form I had signed. The gentleman who died in the car accident is a match for Mr. Daniel's heart transplant. We can proceed with the surgery immediately. I clearly saw the immense joy flood Victoria's face. It was long past midnight. Just like that, on my birthday, I said goodbye to Victoria forever. I wanted to see Victoria's reaction when she found out the truth, so I kept floating in the air, unwilling to return to my body yet. Daniel's surgery was a complete success. After hearing the news, Victoria seemed to finally remember me. She took out her phone and called me. The phone rang for a long time unanswered. I saw her frown. I knew she thought I was just throwing another tantrum, but this time it really wasn't. Then she walked straight into Daniel's room and sat beside him, waiting for him to wake up. It was then that Chloe burst into the room and slapped Victoria hard across the face. This was part of our plan for authenticity. Victoria was clearly stunned by the slap. Ha, using Ethan's heart to save your old flame? You monster. Chloe, eyes red, spat out the words with heartbreaking intensity, then took my body home. Victoria was obviously still processing, frozen in place. After a long moment, she finally stood up and grabbed Daniel's attending physician. Tonight, the car accident victim, what was his name? Victoria struggled to get the words out. He was Dr. Chloe's friend. I heard her mention his name was Ethan. Such a shame, I heard today was his birthday, the doctor said, shaking his head. Victoria swayed for a moment, then suddenly clutched her stomach, bending over and dry heaving. How could it be him? He was waiting for me at home to celebrate his birthday. He was only 24. Doctor, why didn't you save him? I heard Victoria screaming hysterically, running towards the operating room like a madwoman. It was the first time I'd ever seen her like this. She always maintained a strong businesswoman facade in front of everyone. Seeing her state, the doctor had no choice but to call security. They restrained her and gave her a sedative. But none of this could move me anymore. I floated away from the hospital. If you don't get back in your body soon, it's gonna start to stink, Chloe said exasperatedly into the air. I floated above, watching Chloe efficiently cremate me in just one night. Very high efficiency. Now, even if she comes looking, all she'll find is your urn. So, what's in the urn? Baby formula. Oh. I reached up and touched my chest. The newly grown heartbeat with renewed strength. Let's go, let's go. Bags are packed, right? Let's run while we can. You go first. I'll tie up loose ends here and catch up. That very night, I fled the country, heading to the place I had prepared long ago. I didn't know what happened with Victoria after that. Maybe she did love me, but now with Daniel back, she probably threw me to the back of her mind. Now, I was thriving overseas. I got into a prestigious university and was studying art. My professor praised me as a once-in-a-century genius. Looks like I wasn't just a little monster, but a genius too. I lit a cigarette, taking slow drags, my final project laid out before me. Got a light. A young woman stood beside me. I casually handed her a lighter. Thanks. And just like that, the two of us, one sitting, one standing, stayed by the lake for hours. Before leaving, she said, "My name is Angela. I think I've seen you before 2 years ago on the Lakeview overpass." It was her, the person who kept trying to save me. You've got the wrong person, I smiled. She pointed to her earlobe where there was a small, faint red mole. I saw it when I was checking your carotid artery. I asked the hospital. They all said you died. That was the first time I tried to save someone, and I failed. Back then I kept thinking if only I had tried harder, if I knew more, maybe you wouldn't have died. I'm glad you're still alive. I looked at her. Her face was indistinct in the sunset glow. Thank you. I am alive. But now I need to leave with my final project. I smiled at her. My name is Angela. She stood before me, asking deliberately, can you tell me your name? I pointed to my chest. I've been hurt here before. I don't easily tell people my name anymore. With that, I turned and walked away without looking back. But one problem solved, another arose. As soon as I got back, I received a call from Chloe. She had ultimately decided to stay and build her career back home. Big trouble. Remember when we were supposed to bury that fake urn of yours? Victoria refused? We ended up just keeping it at my place. Well, today something set her off. She suddenly came over wanting to snatch the urn. Of course, I couldn't let her have it. During the struggle, the urn got knocked over and your ashes went everywhere. Victoria completely lost it, kneeling on the floor trying to gather the ashes. And then, that baby formula is pretty good quality. Even after all this time, it still has a strong milky smell. Crap. I was the one freaking out now. I couldn't take it anymore. Only 2 years of peace. Chloe, sister, after all these years, you absolutely cannot tell her where I am. Too late, babe. She found out. Okay, time to move. Immediately. Things were really going downhill lately. I ran into Angela at a hotel. When I saw her, I was still lugging my final project on my back. No matter what, the final project couldn't be abandoned. She acted as if she didn't notice my disheveled state and greeted me with a smile. We meet again. Weren't you curious about my name? It's Evan. Evan? Ethan? I fell silent. How did she even know my old name? Come with me. I know there's someone you don't want to see, she said, pointing towards my chest. True. I never canceled my old ID after my death. If Victoria wanted to find me, no matter how I ran, she could. But right now, I really didn't want to see her. Okay. Maybe it was impulse or perhaps an instinctive trust in someone who had tried so desperately to save me, but I went with her. My final project is due tomorrow afternoon, I said, somewhat awkwardly. I'll have someone deliver it for you, Angela said. The car drove up to an estate, a European-style castle. Wrought iron gates slowly opened, revealing a nearly 10-foot-tall fountain. The little voice inside me bit down hard on a handkerchief. What's wrong with having one more rich person in the world? Victoria won't find you here, Angela stated. I looked at her skeptically. Why are you helping me? An idea instantly popped into my head. Could she know my secret about being immortal? Did she bring me here for some secret experiment? Angela looked at me and smiled. Mr. Evan, have you ever heard of following your heart? I wanted to help you, so I did. I won't trouble you for long. Once I figure things out, I'll leave. Okay. According to Chloe, after my fake death, Victoria was heartbroken and told everyone I was her husband. Even after Daniel's surgery, she didn't visit him once. Hearing this just made me laugh. Where was this act before? Now she puts on this devoted show just to disgust me. My professor called me, saying a woman surnamed Han had come to the university looking for me. When told I wasn't there, she waited outside the school for days, hoping to catch me. Good thing I ran fast, or she would have caught me. Don't move. I directed Angela's pose. She was now my dedicated life model. This started the day I accidentally walked in on her right after she got out of the shower. I was stunned. Before, I only knew how to appreciate a woman's figure superficially. After studying art, I realized how shallow I'd been. Muscle definition, mass, they all played a crucial role in aesthetics. Stunned, I nodded. Can you be my model? The thought slipped out just like that. As I stood there awkwardly, Angela nodded. And so, she became my exclusive model. Just a little more. This muscle here is perfect. I need time to sculpt it. Okay, no rush. After a while, I signaled to Angela that she could move freely, while I continued to focus on the details of the sculpture. Tell him I'm not seeing him, Angela answered a call. Usually gentle, her tone was now icy enough to freeze water. Then play along with her, she added immediately. Just as she finished speaking, my sculpture was complete. I looked at the life-size statue in front of me and nodded with satisfaction. Finished. Angela hung up and walked over to me. I nodded, then looked up at her. A gift for you. For me? Angela asked, surprised. Yes, for you. This is my first life-size sculpture, and I think it's a success. So I want to give it to you. I knew my words could be misinterpreted, and I meant them to be. Angela was silent for a long time before asking, seemingly out of nowhere, do you still love her? Now it was my turn to be silent. Of course not. I always knew how to let go. Once I decided someone wasn't worth it, I dropped it immediately. And once dropped, it was truly over. Just as Angela was about to lose patience, I finally spoke. Where did you get the idea I still love her? Was it from our time together here? Was it when we were diving, and I took your hand? Was it that time you were sick, feverish, and delirious, and you leaned in to kiss me, and I didn't pull away? I countered with a smile. Then, do you love me? Angela asked timidly. I stood up from the sofa and faced her, saying word by word, do I need to list more examples? Love or not, you should be able to feel it. Chloe, I'm in love again. Silence on the other end of the phone. If Victoria finds out, she'll really explode. My smile instantly dropped. Why bring up that downer on a happy day? How has she been bothering you? It's actually okay. She just keeps trying different ways to find out where you are, wanting to see you. See me for what? To see me making out with another woman? After I helped save her precious old flame, now she's thinking about the one that got away. Ethan, running away won't solve the problem. If you want to be completely free of her, my advice is you two should meet. Hanging up, I rolled around on the plush rug a couple of times. Then I dialed that number. That evening, I held Angela, watching the heavy snow fall outside the floor-to-ceiling windows. The fire crackled warmly in the fireplace. Tomorrow I have to meet her. Angela's hand, stroking my hair, paused for a moment. Okay, it should be over by 4 in the afternoon. Can you come pick me up? Whatever you want. Once everything is settled, you won't have to be so tired. I don't want her interfering in our lives, I said, getting up and kneeling on Angela's lap, looking into her eyes. The next day, the entire city was covered in white snow. I chose a coffee shop near the university as the meeting place. Would you like something to drink? When I arrived, Victoria had already been waiting for a long time. Thank you, I don't like coffee. What was she apologizing for? Sorry that after 6 years together, she didn't even know what I liked to drink? Seeing her again made me inexplicably irritated. I pulled out a cigarette and lit it. When did you start smoking? Was it after you left me? I shook my head. I always did. You weren't like this before. I sighed. I've always been like this. You just didn't know. You always wanted me to play the part of Daniel. Immense pain flickered in Victoria's eyes. Ethan, I know I missed many chances you gave me. Can you give me one last chance? Victoria, it actually hurt that day. The day of the car crash. It hurt a lot. I gave you 6 years of my youth, you gave me what I wanted. Our relationship was always transactional. It was me who started hoping for something that didn't belong to me, so I paid the price. It wasn't hoping. It was me not seeing my own heart clearly. Ethan, the fact that you agreed to see me again, doesn't that mean there's still a chance for us? I glanced at my watch. It was about time. No chance. I came today just to make you give up hope. With that, I stood up and left. Pushing open the coffee shop door, the first thing I saw was the woman standing under the streetlight. Snow had started falling again, lightly dusting her clothes. In her hand, she held a cake box from the bakery I liked. A smile spread across my face, and I ran towards her.